Okay, so today we're going to make some really flaky pie crust. And our ingredients are 2.5 cups of flour, which I have in my food processor, 1 cup of cold butter cut up into cubes, and then you can stick it in the freezer just while you get all your ingredients ready and everything. 6 to 8 tablespoons of cold ice water. So what I did, I just put in like 10 tablespoons of really cold water from the tap, and then I just put in a bunch of ice cubes, and I'll just keep count of how many tablespoons I put in. A teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar, which I have in this dish together. So I'm using a food processor because it's very easy. So I'm going to put my sugar and my salt in there, and put my cover on, which I have backwards. Lock it in place everywhere, and polish it. Just so that the sugar and the flour are mixed. That is my brother in the background. Okay, then you're going to put your butter in. Sprinkle it all over. We're going to put the cover back on. We're going to pulse it until it's like kind of like a mealy, just kind of specks. And it's not done yet. Maybe 10 times. And it's still not quite done. Almost. And now it's done. You want your butter to still be in some, actually no, it's not quite done, but it's so close. You really want to be able to see your butter, because the butter is what makes it taste good, I guess. I've made this recipe millions of times, so I know it's perfect. And now it's absolutely perfect. So this is kind of the texture. Kind of like a mealy, so that you can still see the butter chunks. So now we're going to put in the water, about a tablespoon at a time. Make sure there's no ice in it. And then pulse it. Sorry for the noise, but can't really help it. Another tablespoon. I'm gonna add 2 this time. So far I have 3 tablespoons in there. But you don't want to put too much water in, because if you put too much, it'll make a big clump in the food processor, and you don't want that. You want to just add enough so it sticks together. So just so you can push it together, so then you can put it out and kind of knead it in your hands, so it doesn't get overmixed. So I just add 2 more, so that's 5. Okay, so this is what it looks like, kind of crumbly, and in my hand when I squish it, it forms into a dough, but it's still crumbly after you pour it out of the food processor. So I'm just going to pile it into a dough and then I'll show you. Okay, so this is the kind of the texture of the dough. It's kind of like squishy, kind of, but not really. Just kind of pie crust dough texture. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to kind of just flatten out your dough, maybe roll it a little bit, just so it's not in a clump, so then when you go to roll it out later, it's not, you don't have to kind of flatten it or anything, you just have to roll it out. So, just kind of roll it on both sides. I'm going to use, I have my wrap right here, I'm going to use some flour. Kind of roll it a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge for about a half an hour to an hour. Really, the longer is the better, but if you only have a half an hour, then you can just do a half an hour. I just split my dough into 2 pieces, as you've seen before. Just like if you're making if you're making a pie, apple pie, like you want top and a bottom. So this does make 2 pieces of pie dough. So then if you just wanted one, then you can just do half the recipe, or just kind of keep one in the freezer, so then when you need one, you have it. So what I'm going to do is flatten out my dough again. I'm going to kind of keep the edges intact. You don't have to, it just may crack up when you're rolling it. There we go. Put in some plastic wrap and pop them both in the fridge for, again, a half an hour. And I can tell you the ingredients again. So what you need is 2.5 cups of flour. And if you have time, you can put the flour in the freezer. You don't have to. But what you really want to do is, with the flour in the freezer and the ice, or the water with ice in it, you want to do everything you can to stop the butter from melting while you're mixing it. So you can do that. And so you also need 6 to 8 tablespoons of water. I used probably about 10 full tablespoons, but I put in like little bits at a time. I didn't do full tablespoons when I actually put it in. A teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar, and there's like the quickest recipe for pie crust ever. Like, I make it all the time. It's so good. It's pretty, like, you can't really get this recipe wrong as long as you follow the recipe. Like, if it's a little dry, add water. If it's a little wet, add flour. It's pretty easy. Okay.